look at how beautiful it is out here today. The sun is shining. Still a little cool, but warm enough to bond glass, and there's like little to no wind. I think Matt and I are coming into one of the last weeks where we're gonna have kind of good working weather before we really need to start using heaters, because we have to keep temperatures, I think, at a minimum of 60 degrees anytime we're glassing. So lots to do this week, and we're going to really try and figure out what has to be done before we need to start sectioning off the boat again and heating those areas to work on them. All the trees are changing color. Fall is definitely upon us. After 8 years of the nomadic life, involving crossing oceans in a 34-foot Sabre, refitting an aluminum boat, and then taking that to the Arctic Circle, we're back at it again with a brand new build. This is Matt, and I'm Jessica. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and join us every week as we start our newest project of building a 42-foot catamaran from the ground up. All right, so while we have this kind of warm enough temperature that just the ambient temperature in the tent is still warm enough for us to do our glassing, one of the very important things that Matt wanted to get done, and he kind of touched on for just a second at the beginning of last week's episode, is cutting out the holes to our master bunks in the transom where the hatches are gonna go, so the moles will be going in there. And right now he's starting to lay out what's gonna be our owner's bunk on starboard side, so that has got to be perfect.
This is centered. So I have it 200 millimeters kicking in. I am cutting it out. The way this was originally molded, the deck was considerably higher because this was molded for aft helms. We cut it down so then the cockpit seat, because we're doing that raised helm setup, and we wanted the visibility to have it, the side deck considerably lower, which again meant going through and fixing this, which we've already done in the past. But now, as you can see, this actually is even bonded in here. I'm taking advantage of that and using that as our line, so then I don't have to glass this and gel coat it just to have the hatch lower. And what we're doing is the steps that go in here, you can kind of see the openings to get up this area. This top step is going to extend to about here, kind of a triangular shape, and then the lower one will extend and go below this hatch. It's going to do two things. It breaks up this area visually, makes a longer step, so three things actually. So you can step up there, but it's also going to lend some support. So if this is that step coming along here, it's going to lend some support to this hatch.
It's driving me crazy that I couldn't get better angles of Matt working, but if you saw where I was filming from, I really have nowhere else to step. I'm like trying to be like, okay, so if I can
a little back further.
Yeah, it's just step like that.
All right.
Someday I'll just be like floating in the water and holding the camera up. Someday.
So just using my beat up mold, already pulled two molds off of this, or two pieces off of this. That's going to be the inserts that go in here. Just using it because it should be the right size. Making sure that bad boy is level. Even use a little digital guide to find out. Yay! We're good. Since this literally is the mold that I'm using, make sure that we get that edge right. Yep, trying to pull it out now.
exciting.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
It appears my lady has fallen ill. She's lost her voice, so she has asked me to relay this message to you all. The message that my lady has asked me to pass on to you is that by going to established titles, you too can purchase anywhere from 1 to 10 square feet of land in Scotland and become a lord and or lady today. And this is because of an old Scottish tradition that landowners were referred to as lairds, or in English terms, lords and ladies. With every purchase, a tree will be planted with the help of organizations such as Trees for the Future and One Tree Planted to help with global afforestation. Established Titles is actually having a pre-Black Friday sale now. Go there using the link in the description box and use code MJSailing for additional 10% off on top of the deals that they're having now.
And the first 200 people to purchase using my link will get their plot of land within walking distance of mine, meaning we can form our own little Scottish community.
I can't believe she's making me do this for you all. She's got a little cold in the sniffles and lost her poor little voice. Boo-hoo. She thinks she's royalty and a queen, but all she is a lady. That's all she'll ever be. A lady and a prissy sauna. She's a sauna. That means she's a freeloader and just expects everything done for her, just like this video.
Georgie, don't you go jumping on other boats again. We don't need that kind of trouble. All she wants to do is go on a sailboat. Well, since Kentmorr Restaurant is closed for the season and we used to do our regular weekend happy hours there after work on Saturdays, we can't do that anymore, but we've decided to change it up a little bit since obviously Tucker's still here because he lives here with us. We're going to take our kitties to the beach for a little play date and have a happy hour there instead since it is such a beautiful day and we don't know how much longer this beautiful fall weather is going to last. Georgie, you remember Callie, right? We're trying to get them to be friends. She's like, I'm not having that. Let's go to the beach, kitties.
She's like, you can't force friendship.
Yes, you can.
Girl.
Georgie, you're such a good girl. What do you think, Callie?
Not having fun, are you?
Looks like there's a fish or like a boat on it.
I know. Georgie's like, I'll just go in this corner then.
Yeah.
I see you've made your choice. One of the reasons we're kind of trying to force friendship here is that whenever Matt and I leave the marina for an extended period of time and we can't take Georgie with us, Tucker is always the one that watches her, and normally she just stays on the boat by herself and he comes by a few times a day to feed her and pay attention to her, but we're hoping that one day we can actually leave Georgie on his boat with him. But first we have to get the two cats familiar with each other because, yeah, we don't want any cat fights while we're gone.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And we had to go through here. I guess a big old shell.
Boop.
Yeah, which one?
Came out here one night. I think we left there.
Georgie, I think all the trick-or-treaters are out.
Yeah. It's a splendid there.
Bad news is we did not get these cats to become best friends, but I guess the good news is that they didn't kill each other. So I think they can maybe tolerate being in the same space together, and who knows, after 4 days of just being forced into each other's space, they'll become cuddle buddies. So we'll see, but that is our hope that eventually if we leave on a vacation, Georgie can go over to Tucker's boat and stay there with full-time attention.
With the cutout in this aft bulkhead now for the hatch area, this is going to be bonded in from the inside and then glassed out. What I need to do is remove the core, remove this glass. So we're cutting back about 3 inches roughly around here. And so we're bonding just to the exterior glass, the stuff that's on the outside with the gel coat on it. From the inside though, glassing the hatch in there, and then we will put this foam core back into place, bonded into place, and then glass again from this side. So it's retaining that strength and the rigidity that was there before, and we're actually reinforcing it because we're adding that extra fiberglass channel basically to it. So that is the process right now. I'll cut this out, get all that set up, and then we can bond that piece in and go from there. There's a core removed from that area. We'll go through and grab the other side. I'll come back, clean this whole thing up. The edge glass is about 5 millimeters thick. So I had to account for that in my molded piece that goes on here to make sure that when that flush hatch actually goes into place, it's going to be even with this exterior, not with this inside here. So subtract 5 millimeters from that. Yeah. We'll get this all cleaned up and then we can start bonding it in. It's dirty already. So that will get bonded then to this side. Once we get that in place, then I can glass it from the back, reinforce this, make this stronger. That's where the hatch is going to actually rest against. This still needs to be cut back a little bit further as well. Once that's done, then I can go through and flush route this to bring it to the exact edge, round it over, and I'm going to go through and just do a little glass on the edge here, then go through ferret and gel coat it, and it should be all set. So now the idea is just to get this into place, get it nice and level, and then I'll go in and make a little cove on the backside just to hold it in place for us. I'm right now putting in a cove, a little small one actually, just to kind of hold this into position. So once it sets, I can take these clamps off and then do a bigger cove and then actually fiberglass it from this side. But if you see, there's little blocks here. These are 35.5 millimeter spacers. And what the objective is, again, to get that hatch completely flush, I want to make sure that this ledge is spaced out in the proper position, and just to make sure that when we put those hatches in place, that they're going to sit nice and smooth.
I always love whenever we get to make trips over to Annapolis, and tonight is a fun yet sad occasion because our good friends Brian and Summer are finally leaving on their cruising adventure. We've been talking about it with them for the past 2 years, so the fact that this moment has finally come and they're departing in the morning is very exciting for them, but they were like our best friends in the area whenever they would come up for the weekend, so it's going to be so sad to see them go. Matt's like, hurry up, I want food. I can't believe you're leaving us.
Not at some point.
It's time. And there's boat cats. Hi, Sushi. Mojo and Woofy. Aww. So there's still work to be done, things to be put away. Where did you go, Sushi? We know the feeling of moving out and trying to find space for everything. Right, Kat? I don't envy you.
I moused the...
Yeah.
I told them they can just let me...
And as anyone who'd just cleaned out their entire house of belongings would, they had a goodie box of items to be passed on to us. Walking from Eastport and into downtown Annapolis, we were unsure of where to have our very last dinner together, somewhere new or one of our old favorites. In the end, we chose Dry 85, which we visit often for its laid-back vibes and delicious burgers. We're at the Paris Treaty now, one of the historic buildings in Annapolis, having a cocktail after dinner. Last night in Annapolis, as far as everybody knows, so cheers, you guys. We're gonna miss you. All right, so at the beginning of this episode, Matt kind of explained why we're putting the hatch so high up close to the deck versus centering it in this space. And it's kind of to make our life easier and for the plans we have, because it does match up with this seam right here from where we bonded the cockpit seat into the transom here. And so that way we don't have to like go back and fare for what's going to be visible for just a few inches. And because we're going to have that step running right underneath the window, and unlike most boats, this is not just a piece of glass or acrylic with a opening port inside it. The entire thing does actually open up, just like the ones we have up here, our awesome Vetus hatches that we love. So of course we needed something that wasn't going to intersect with that step. It's going to like clear it when it goes open, but it is a little less traditional. So we're curious to hear your thoughts on it too. I like it from out here for those reasons. And of course when we are inside our bunk, so we're actually planning on having a very thick mattress, 8 inches, so it's going to be even with this like ledger sill right here, which is structural for this boat. But you can see back here that it's still going to be like much higher, so we may not get necessarily the view out. But I'm thinking a benefit is, you know, if my butt is right here and I want to like lean back, my shoulder isn't going to be cutting into the handles that we'll use to open this hatch. So that's a benefit for me too, I think, from being inside here. But make sure to let us know in the comments below of what you think of not centering our hatches and bringing it basically all the way up to the deck. And then make sure to stay tuned for next week as we continue progress on these. Matt gets them glassed into place, kind of like routes the edges, does some more finishing touches, and maybe we'll even be able to put one in just to kind of see what it looks like.
To pieces, yeah, I need it. Once you bend them on